Hello everybody and welcome to this very different kind of video. This isn't really a review or anything like that. It's a bit of a discussion, maybe a little bit of a review, but mostly I want to talk about Kickstarter and Kickstarter projects. So I'm going to keep this small and minimal, mostly because, well, I've been seeing a couple of videos on YouTube over the last few weeks or months or so, trying to make comparisons between a game like Dust and Elysian Tale, Shovel Knight, with a game like Mighty Number 9. And well, a lot of those videos don't really discuss any real differences or even relations to them. So this is exactly what this video is going to be. So first up, I'm going to talk about Dust and Elysian Tale. Dust and Elysian Tale came out back in 2002. Originally this was intended as a short animated film, but the maker, Dean Dodrill, decided to make a video game instead. A self-taught illustrator and animator, he even taught himself how to code just to make this game. That's the big difference here that nobody really seems to mention about this, is two things. One, Dust and Elysian Tale was not a Kickstarter project at all. Two, this game was made by one man. One person. I'm sure that aside from the music and then the voice acting, there were other people that were brought in, but entirely this game was made by one person over a course of 3.5 years. The creator, in fact, was just going to upload this originally to Xbox's indie channel on their 360 network, but he won the Microsoft Dream Build Play Challenge, and it was awarded a contract for the Xbox Live Arcade summer release. The first thing that grabbed my attention with this was the art style. I checked out the demo and I really liked the gameplay. It's basically a Metroidvania game, so yeah, I'm in. The art looks really good and the action and gameplay is fun and pretty challenging at times, mostly with the more tougher enemies like giants and slimes. You have to use the parry ability to stun them and do more damage to them. The combat is pretty simple, but fun. You have ground combos with the square and triangle buttons, one attack combo that will launch your enemies, or one that will have you thrash them to the ground. So cool. Same with the air combo with the triangle button. What's cool too is with flying enemies, once you use this combo, because your attacks will go straight to the enemies, you can just keep going as long as there are enemies in the area. This is all with the combo meter. The higher your combo, the more experience you'll earn during combat. The meter, though, will break if you're hit or if you don't continue attacking. There is also magic with your partner Fidget. Using the Dust Storm with magic will make it bigger and pretty cool, too. The story is you're a former soldier or assassin that has lost their memory after you were nearly killed. And you are found by the Sword of Ara, a talking sword, and Fidget, the guardian of the sword. Yeah, most people don't really like these characters and just write them off as pretty annoying. I actually don't really have a problem with them at all. There are far worse characters. And you go on your journey to figure out who you are and what is going on, and becoming a hero to the people in the process. There is also a leveling up system with improving your health, attack, defense, and your magic, and gaining new gear, add-ons, and crafting gear that you give to a blacksmith. So said comparison video that I saw that was trying to do this with Dust and Mighty Number 9, all it really did was just show a trailer for both games, and then that was it. Brought up no real argument or anything like that. So it was sort of a thing of like, why even bring this up? Anyway, moving on. Shovel Knight, a simple retro throwback inspired by DuckTales, a little bit of Mega Man, and even some Mario 3 with its level and map select. This game has classic and retro all over it. I love the look. Love it. It's very simplistic in its gameplay, but it feels so good too. Originally with a Kickstarter goal of only $75,000, but ended up making over 300 grand. You have a simple attack and a downward thrust with a bounce to it on enemies. But just because it's simple doesn't mean this game is a pushover either. You can die pretty easy if you're not paying attention. I like the checkpoint system that you can get rid of if you want to make the game more challenging on you. And when you die, you drop money, kind of like Dark Souls a little bit, that you can pick up if you can get to it without dying. a very colorful and charming world with really good music and gameplay. And ever since its release, in appreciation to their fans, they've released free DLC of additional story and playable characters, which they're still doing. And lastly, I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible to try and base everything and keep it simple. Lastly, Mighty Number 9. Let me say this up front. If you've watched my videos or my channel, you know that I'm a Mega Man fan. I grew up playing Mega Man 2, it's one of my favorites, and the X series is pretty big up there too. And when I had heard about this at the time, I had no interest in it. I didn't like the character design that I was seeing and thought, nah. And after numerous delays, I figured it wasn't going to be that good. But there was a lot more to it than that. But really though, let's just stick to talking about the game. Far better and smarter people have already gone into detail about the behind-the-scenes business of the game. Obviously it's Mega Man, with elements of Mega Man X, with the dashing. Only you can continue dashing. But no charge shot though, or wall jumping. The music is kinda mediocre. It doesn't really stand out or anything like that. It just seems to fade into the background. Which is funny because the music for Mega Man games was always so awesome, especially in X. I mean, just the title screen music alone on X just gets you so pumped up. And that first stage music is really cool. For boss selection is awesome. The first thing you'll notice, or I did, I really don't like the character models for anyone. They kind of look like Nintendo Mii's. And no one's mouth moves when they talk either. And the game is pretty story heavy too, but you can skip the dialogue at least by pushing the start button. It's interesting because while the game seems to encourage and award speedrunning, but it seems to also punish you for it too. There can be cheap deaths from environments or mini-boss fights. There was a bit of fun that I had with this, slightly, but not a lot. Sometimes you can climb on edges or platforms, other times you can't. Just a lot of cheap deaths. I couldn't even get to or beat a boss with this. Just had no fun and decided to quit. So the reason why I'm talking about this and Kickstarter in general is because, well, because of Mighty Number 9, there's kind of been this big stigma lately about Kickstarter is bad and you should stay away from it. Well, there can certainly always be bad examples of Kickstarter projects, but it really didn't help either that the creators and the makers of it seem to keep on asking for more money for more stuff that probably all could have been done later after the game came out. But instead, they decided to really push hard on fans and ask for more money and even go to other routes for that money too. Which says a lot about the makers. And really, I think it's incredibly unfair, really, to compare one project that wasn't a Kickstarter and then another one that went for far less money to this, that asked for more money, made a lot more money, and even continued to ask for money from its fans. Especially considering that there have also been other stuff that came out of Kickstarter, like a card game like Cards Against Humanity was a Kickstarter project. Super Hot was a Kickstarter project, and those were both really good games. Hell, I've played Cards Against Humanity. You can watch people play Cards Against Humanity, and it's a great party game. It's a lot of fun. So, do I think that Kickstarter's bad? No. Do I think it's certainly been exploited by some really bad businessmen and people that either just don't know what the hell they're doing or don't care? Yeah, certainly. There are plenty of examples like that. But I don't think Kickstarter is a bad thing. You should certainly probably approach it with some caution, obviously. I mean, I've certainly been burned in the past by Kickstarter, really only once, really, with a game that I wanted to see, but never did, and never got my money back the second time around. And what kind of sucks is that I did give over $60 to the Bloodstained Kickstarter for a physical copy, and that game's been delayed quite a bit, and they've also changed the game art style, which I don't like. So now my expectations for that one are kind of low, which kind of sucks. But do I still think Kickstarter's bad? Hell no. Should you approach it with some caution? Yeah. But do I think these games are being unfairly compared? Hell yeah, I do. But then again, it's YouTube. Well, anyway, everybody, hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves.